Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 18th of October 2018. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session, where we're going to have a look at a few instruments. They're quite developing nicely right now. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, so let's jump into the charts straight away. So the first one I want to touch on is Nasdaq. Now Nasdaq here is at an interesting spot. Certainly, as you can see, we have been trading lower. We've broken this this kind of medium-term upside support line taken from the low of the 4th of April. Then since then we kind of on the 4th of October we saw this break here initially, and then a further slide, continuation slide here to the downside, where the index managed to reach the area near the 6,890 zone. So quite an important level to watch now. But from which it kind of bounced back to the upside. So continues to correct itself to the upside, and now yesterday it found its resistance near the 73.10. So this is one of the levels that I was watching, and I was discussing this one in one of my previous videos. And of course, this level here, the 73.10, has been seen as a nice area of support here around the mid-August. Excuse me guys, mid-August, and also it acted as a very nice area of resistance here around the 21st of June. So it's kind of repeating its history right now. So it's testing, it tested that level from which it kind of retraced back to the downside. So of course yesterday's day closed in a bit of in a red zone. So if this is going to continue to hold, if the 73.10 will continue to hold, then we could see a decline here, another leg of selling, and we could potentially aim for the 71.45 zone initially. Or if that doesn't hold, well, and of course we'll aim for the 200 EMA first. But if the bears will remain in control here, then yep, we could see a slide all the way back down towards the lows that we had around the 11th of October. Certainly for now, be very cautious. Again, like I said, we could see a bit of a slide here to the downside if, of course, if this 73.10 level continues to hold. But the level that we're going to keep an eye on first will be the 71.45, and probably after that, if let's say it reaches that level, then we'll just reevaluate it again, because it will see how the price action goes, because we could potentially maybe see a rebound and another then push higher from the bulls, and the bulls could push it towards the next potential area of resistance at around 7,400. Now, of course, breaking on the way this key important resistance at 73.10. So this could be a possible scenario. So let me just actually kind of sum it up here with a bunch of arrows, and basically we could see a scenario like this, where initially, of course, we could see a decline here towards the 71.45, and if it doesn't break here, we could see the bulls kicking in here again and pushing this index back up again. Certainly, of course, that is if the 73.10 continues to hold. I do apologize for the mixing maybe you a little bit, guys, but this is a bit of a tricky one here, and as you can see, it kind of moves sideways. It likes to move kind of a little bit erratically, but nevertheless, the trend kind of right now is the short-term trend is kind of has been to the upside, but again, like I said, it met its resistance at around 73.10. So let's see how that performs, especially today. And we could see maybe a scenario like this, but again, like I said, if the 71.45 breaks, then we could see a further slide to the downside towards the levels that we saw around the the 10th and the 11th of October. Jumping into UK oil, which is Brent, and looking at this daily chart, we can see that we've managed to, of course, we've managed to break this short-term upside support line, and from which we kind of now we've moved lower. And as you can see, for this week, the commodity was trading within this little range here between the 79.80 and the 81.90 areas. So now the black gold kind of that managed to move lower here, managed to break this 79.80, and also managed to break this other little small area of support, and that's around the 79.25. So we're seeing now a good move towards the downside. The next potential area to keep an eye on, let me just kind of zoom in here a little bit, and that's the 78.30. Now the 78.30 was marked here by the lows that we saw around the 21st of September, so quite an important level to watch. If of course this doesn't hold, we could see a further decline here, but still keep an eye on this 100 EMA here shown as the green line on the daily chart. This could play out as a potential stalling area where yep, the bulls and the bears kind of could start fighting it out over who's going to take control here from here. But if the bears kind of will remain in control, then yep, we could see further decline here towards the potential test of this long-term upside support line that has been running here since around the 21st of June 2017. So keep your eyes on that one. Again, for us to kind of consider this area here, this potential test of the long-term upside support line, we would need to see a nice good break below the 78.30 initially, and then maybe a better confirmation break below this level right here at around 77.45. Now certainly I do apologize for the amount of lines here, but to be honest, at this point in time, every line here becomes kind of in a way important. So yep, guys, keep your eyes on that one. Keep your eyes on the 77.45 as well, of course, if this continues to travel lower. For us to get comfortable with the upside here now, of course, from the very short-term perspective, if this, let's say, gets back, or let's say initially moves towards the 81.90 here and then closes above that, yep, we could then aim for maybe higher levels like 84.95 or even the 85.40 marked here by the highs here that we had around the 10th and the 11th of October, respectively, of course. But for now, judging by the picture that we're seeing here on the daily chart, this is kind of looking more bearish than bullish. And again, at the moment, we're seeing that it's trying to kind of make its way lower. Of course, initially, like I said, we'll keep an eye on the 78.30, but if that doesn't hold, we do have the 77.45. Certainly, of course, further breaks here could open the path towards this, towards a possible test of this upside, this long-term upside support line. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on that one. Keep your eyes on these levels that I've just mentioned, and let's see how it plays out. Now, jumping into a few pairs now, the one that I wanted to touch on quickly, that's Euro Aussie, and for this one I need to kind of jump into a 4-hour chart. So as you can see, we were trading here above this upside support line, in a way a tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 20th of August, and we managed to break that here, break it to the downside, and now it seems that it wants to continue pushing lower. So certainly, if that's the case, then we're going to keep an eye on potentially keep an eye on this 160.40 zone, approximately there. It kind of it acted a few times as a nice area of support here in the past, especially here on the 4th of September. So something like this could be possible, where we could then end up testing this area here around this 160.40. And if that doesn't hold, we could see maybe a further continuation to the downside, where we could test the 159.85 zone, and that was marked here by the lows that we saw on the 1st of October. So quite an important level to watch as well. Also, just to kind of point out something as well, and from the short-term kind of picture here, you can see that in a way this this pair kind of formed a a head and shoulders, a double top formation here. So we've got one peak here around the 5th of October, and the other one is around the 10th of October. So as you can see, kind of it's not an ideal, of course, formation, but nevertheless, at the moment, as you can see, that this neckline here also kind of coincided here with this this tentative upside support line that got broken. So in a way, the neckline now got broken. So if to trust this, then yep, we could in a way see this one traveling further here towards the 159.85 according to all the double top kind of technical rules here. Then we could see in the similar amount here dropping, the pair dropping towards a similar size of the or similar length, let's put it that way, that we have here from the neck towards the head. So in a way, the 159.85 could become a possibility for sure. So but again, be very careful. We're still not far from the kind of neckline here, and we're still just slightly below this upside support line, because basically what I'm trying to say here, if suddenly this reverses like 180 degrees back to the upside, keep your eyes on this level right here at around 160, 175. If we get a close above that, then this could turn the whole picture around, and we could then probably aim for a little bit higher here, maybe initially aiming for the 162.55 or even a bit higher here. We do have another good potential area of resistance at around 162.85 zone, so marked here by the high of the 16th of October. So could be a nice potential area of resistance. This is what we're going to probably aim for initially if we get a nice break in a close above the 61.75. Jumping into another one, so USDCAD. USDCAD is at an interesting spot here. As you can see, I've got this area highlighted, and in one of my previous videos I was talking about this level here at around 130.50. So in a way, it kind of acts as a nice area of resistance. A nice good break above that could potentially open the path towards the next good area of resistance at around 131.10, which was marked here by the inside swing lows of the 7th of September. So initially we could be aiming for that area, but if that doesn't hold, we could travel all the way here towards the next potential area of resistance at around 132.10. So that was marked by the highs that we saw around the 4th of September. So some good levels, some good potential levels here, but of course for us to see this scenario, we would need to get a nice good break above this 130.50. Now certainly, of course, you could potentially maybe start drawing some tentative downside resistance lines here in order to kind of support this idea, but to be honest, nevertheless, it's just a tentative line, so it wouldn't really kind of change the whole game here, because, and like I said, what we're gonna look at for here, we're gonna aim for a nice break of this key area of resistance at around 130.50, and this way, like I said, of course we'll be very careful here, and we will see a strong good move towards the 131.10. Now this is where it could become more exciting for the bulls. So keep your eyes on that one, of course. On the downside, again, if this continues to hold, if the 130.50 continues to hold, if this pair is going to struggle to overcome it, certainly we could see maybe a slide back down here. But in order for us to kind of get more comfortable with lower levels, we would need to see a nice good break here below this one area right here at around 129.25 or 2020 zone. Actually, let's put it a little bit lower in order to kind of be on the safe side. So around 129.20. This could be a nice area to watch, because a break below that could potentially open the path towards lower levels like the 128.85, or even if that doesn't hold, I mean, this could be opening the path towards the 127.80, which was marked here by the low of the 1st of October. But of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. Initially, let's see what it wants to do with this 130.50 today, if it wants to break it or not. Just also to kind of keep in mind that tomorrow we do have the Canadian CPIs coming out, so we could see some action kicking in here in this pair tomorrow. So let's say if today's day is going to end up around here somewhere, then yep, keep a close eye on tomorrow's Canadian data release. So And the last pair I wanted to touch on, and that's USDCHF. This one basically, I've mentioned this one in the morning analysis that we threw out today on our website, and this is what I was talking about. Basically, I was looking at this potential break here of the 0.9955 area, this resistance area, quite an important one. And as you can see now, we're getting a nice boost here and breaking the 0.9955. So certainly now the big question here is this going to stay here above? If this is going to stay here above today, certainly keep your eyes for the next possible area of resistance around the 0.9985 marked here by the highs that we saw around the 15th of August. And basically, as you can see now by the arrows that I've got drawn here, we could see a possible scenario like this where we could end up testing the 0.9985, then maybe probably retracing just a little bit down to test this kind of, in a way, tentative maybe upside support line taken from the lows of the 21st of September, and then make another push higher. So of course, this is just an idea here, guys. You be the judge, but I'm just kind of telling you guys to keep an eye on certain levels and to kind of see, you know, if this plays out nicely or not. But for now, at the moment, judging from this picture, then to be honest, it's looking more bullish than bearish. And especially, like I said, if this is going to stay here above the 0.9955 zone today, then yep, we could then aim for the 0.9985, and then we'll just take it from there. On the downside, well, for us to see a nice good break here below the upside support line, this tentative upside support line, to be honest, that wouldn't be enough to kind of to start, you know, looking at lower levels. For a better confirmation, we would need to get a nice good break here below this 0.9890 zone. This is where we could then aim for a possible test of the 0.9850, and of course, as you can see by the arrow here that I've got, we could maybe see a bit of a rebound and then a drop again towards the downside. So in a way, for a more conservative trader, I would probably recommend to stay put here and keep an eye on this level here, basically the 0.9850, and wait until we get a nice break here, because as you can see, it acted as a nice area of support here on the 15th of October and also on the 10th of October. So in a way, we could see a nice good break here, and if we do get a nice break here, this is where more bears could probably start jumping in. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. I kind of ran over my time a little bit, but nevertheless, I hope you found it useful. If you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Trader's Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much, and bye-bye.